What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. All right, I wanted to do a little bit of a thought experiment here, inspired by some of the comments you guys have been leaving on the upcoming impact that land will have on the overall card market and the card or circulating supply of cards, I should say. Now, we know that land is going to require both summoners and monsters, but we don't really know how many monsters it will require or if all of them will require summoners. So there are going to be some, well, all of this is speculation and all of this is just an estimate, but some of the assumptions that we're going to make is that every land plot is going to require at least one summoner. Now, yes, there's going to be some occupied lands and maybe some lands that you can't necessarily farm. Again, this is just an estimate, and this is really to get a big picture idea of where and how impactful land could be when it launches. So I'm going to use Chaos Legion as kind of our proxy here. And what I'm going to do first is show that we are at 4.14 million packs opened out of the 15 million packs that will be available. So I already did the math on that, and that is 27.6%. Okay, so this is going to be our starting point. We are at roughly 27.6% of all Chaos Legion packs opened, meaning that of all the summoners or all the cards, we have roughly 27.6 of them available. So what I'm going to do is see where we stand right now in terms of these circulating cards on the current summoners that we have. So that is Quix the Devious as a legendary, and then you have the 5 rare summoners across each of the different splinters. So you can see here that, for example, there's been, so for Kelia, there's been 181,000 BCX printed, but that is only equal to 40,000 cards because people have been combining them to get to higher levels. So I'm going to take the snapshot of what we have now and just kind of extrapolate that out into the future to see how many summoners we have at the various levels, and just assume that this number, if we, again, extrapolate it out to those terms, what it will look like. So 218,637 is the amount of current summoners we have available, both combined and non-combined. These are just individual cards that are available. So if we divide this by the 0.276%, that gets us to, by the end of, or by the time Chaos Legion is fully out and released and all the packs are opened, or, majority of the packs are opened, we'll be at roughly 792,000 summoners for Chaos Legion in existence. Now, this number will continue to go down as more and more people combine their cards. But again, what I'm trying to do is just take a snapshot of where we're at right now, people playing at all the different levels, and what this would look like in the future. I'm sure the argument can be made that maybe there'll be a lot more summoner cards because newer players means less BCX, right? People might be playing with a 1 or level 1, which is 1 BCX, or level 5, sorry, level 2, which is a 5 BCX, versus, maybe silver or silver, gold, or diamond, which is obviously when you start to really pile on the amount of BCX you need in order to play at those levels. But again, this is just a rough estimate. Now, the other assumption, not assumption, but the other calculation that we're going to take in here is that based on the number of cards coming within Chaos Legion versus that of Untamed and versus that of all other previous sets, where we currently stand, the last number that I heard is that Chaos Legion is roughly 84 to 85% of all cards, right? That's how big this set is. Meaning that, like, out of all cards, once Chaos Legion is fully here, Chaos Legion is going to make up 84 to 85%. So we're gonna err on the lower side there and say 84%, which means that if we want to get the summoners for everything, right, then we have to account for that other 16% out there. So what I'm going to do is divide this by 0.84. And this gets us to a nice round number of, we'll just say 943,000. Again, just an estimate. 943,000 summoners that will be in existence, or in circulation, I should say, by the time Chaos Legion is completely out in the open. Now, we're not counting Rift Watchers. Rift Watchers is going to be its own thing, and we'll add onto this. I don't know how much, but maybe we can save that for a future calculation. The main thing that I wanted to show you here is that let's say we have 943,000 summoners by the time Chaos Legion is fully out and before Rebellion comes out. Well, how many land plots are there? There's 150,000. So 150,000 divided by the 943,000 summoners means that we're going to get about 16% of summoners scooped up off of the market if all land is being worked. And again, this is in a perfect world, saying that, all land is being worked and, all of the land requires summoners. So even if there's room for error here, even if we are maybe 2 to 3% standard deviations or, standard deviations away or percentages for error, the fact that this is above 10% is a little shocking to me. I was not expecting this when I first started going through the calculations. So this is going to reduce supply by that amount, meaning that, for the playable summoners, meaning ones that aren't working land, we're going to get a 10% reduction. Now, to me, that's, I know people will look then and be like, oh, 10% isn't much, but you combine 10%, and again, this is showing 15 to 16%, but let's just say you combine 10 to 15% with the fact that the player base will continue to grow over time and more players will be coming in and collections will be, sorry, not collections, but people's collections will be leveling up over time, meaning that there's actually going to be less summoners. It's significant. Now, the other part of this, on the flip side, is the fact that Rift Watchers will come out at some point, provide us more summoners. And then Rebellion at some point will come out, provide us more summoners. And Rebellion could be another major thing. If it's at the same level as Chaos Legion, then we're talking about, okay, well, we're going to have a ton of summoners there. So really the timeline for when land releases versus when, not when land releases, but when the phase of land that requires summoners to work on it releases, and when Rebellion comes out or any other future expansions come out, is going to make what's that called? It's going to make an impact, and it's obviously going to depend. But in between those times, just as we saw in the back half of last year, it only takes a few months for a massive crunch in the supply and a massive explosion in demand to really make things pop. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not saying that we're going to reach some other bubble. I'm not saying that we're going to moon in terms of all the cards and assets and summoners and buy them now. All I'm saying is that this to me is a significant number and just a fun thought exercise to do. And we'll see how this plays out. And obviously, we're still way too far out from land and Rebellion and Rift Watchers even to make solid and accurate assessments. But it is just something to think about for the future in terms of, make sure you have your summoners, I guess, or at least consider, leveling up while the going is good. And once we start to hear these big changes coming in, it might just be something to pay attention to if you need to still level up your summoners, which I do, and that's why I'm paying attention. So that's all I have for you guys in this video today. Hopefully it was helpful or entertaining. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If my math was off for any reason, please let me know, and I'd be more than happy to come back on and correct it. But yeah, just thought we'd have some fun. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.